Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Tabletop Mic Drop. This is the vlogcast about gaming and geek culture. That's right, it's a vlogcast just like a podcast, except it has video so you can see our pretty faces. So I'm going to introduce everybody around. So first off, new to the Tabletop Mic Drop, we have Dave Adams from Nerds of Wisdom.
How you doing?
And of
Thanks
course,
for having me.
I'm sorry?
I was saying thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. And then, of course, back again, who is in our first episode, we have Angela from Nerfenstein, a.k.a. Girly Gamer.
Hey, everyone.
And then we have Lynn from the Board Game Kaptain.
Hello.
And we have me, and I'm Josh, also known as the Board Game Kaptain. So, let's see, we've got some interesting topics. Now, first off, Angela, you've got a new game that you wanted to talk about that you've been playing. So tell us about this.
Okay, usually I would not go here. Cardboard all the way. But I've been playing a VR game that is a tabletop game. And I've got to tell you guys, this thing is freaking magical. I've loved it. Spoiler for my review. Table of Tales. And it is literally you sitting in front of a game table, and the table world, or the world that you're playing in, rises out of the table. And it's a miniatures game. So you've got miniatures, you can move the miniatures around. You've got cards with like special actions or special skills for the miniatures. Like no flat video is going to show how magical this is. Like it's the first board game type thing that I've played as a video game where I've thought I can see how you could merge them now. So
does it have spaces like a board game, or is it set up like a, like Warhammer or something like that, where it's like a tabletop miniatures war game?
It's like a grid pattern, so like you would do it on graph paper in old school terms. So it's an RPG. So the actual board or the world is made up of squares, and you can move you can move your character however many move spaces it's got. The detail on the models is amazing. Like you can pick them up and you can look at them. You can put them on the side of the table and they grow, so you can see all the detail. So
you said it plays like a role-playing game?
It is an RPG, a tabletop RPG. So there's like an overarching story where you're going around these islands in the world, doing different things, and getting to the end of the story to find out what the twist is.
Now this is on, what is this on PlayStation VR?
This is on PlayStation VR, yeah.
Oh my god, I don't have a PlayStation. You're like tempting me to get one right now.
Yeah, so, really good.
Another question.
Okay.
Is there a video game controlled game master in the game to run you through the campaign?
There is. There's a little robot bird. I think his name's Arbitrix, and he does all the voices of all the characters in the game and sort of relays the story. So he's like the game GM. And it's made by a Melbourne company right here in Australia as well. A small dev group as well.
So again, this is Table of Tales?
Table of Tales, the Crooked Crown.
The Crooked Crown.
Yeah, they're doing that on the Australian NBN. That's impressive.
Oh,
that's brilliant. For some reason, that sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know why. I could just be making stuff up, too.
This game sounds so cool.
Yeah, you could look at some flat videos. Like, you could watch the trailer for this. And obviously, when I do my review, I'll have footage in there. But actually seeing it in VR is just, it's amazing. It's literally like playing on the best gaming table that you've ever had.
Nice.
It is. Yeah,
so
really
a couple other questions I got to have for you. So, okay. Can you get friends in on this as other player characters in the game?
It has multiplayer, but the problem is I'm playing it before it's out.
Okay.
So I haven't tried the multiplayer.
But that will be an option. That will be.
It's definitely an option, yeah. It was in the options when I was going through them, yeah.
Can you have... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
And I was saying this was a predictable future of tabletop gaming, though, wasn't it? I mean, I was excited with augmented reality. I thought augmented reality was going to have a way bigger impact, but I think we're probably just going to skip that. I honestly thought we'd be holding our phones up to gaming boards and watching characters interact on the phones.
Yeah, well, they do that, don't they? In there are a couple of augmented games.
I was trying to think of, I think it was like Arcane or something tried that, but it wasn't really well picked up, and it didn't.
There was a pirate one as well, wasn't there? Was it?
I don't know.
World of Yoho. World of Yoho
that's the one.
Was the pirate one, and that one you actually put the phone on the board as a playing piece, and you could see the ship on your screen.
Okay.
It was weird.
Yeah.
The other one, I can't remember the name of it. I think I might be thinking it the same one you were talking about, David. It was like a collectible card game.
And you had figures, and you could see all their stats and things. I've got it at work. I just obviously haven't pulled it out. I'm one of the people
really
who haven't
cool.
never got to. Yeah,
but it didn't really like hit it off.
Yeah, by the time I actually got the game, and then they sort of said, "Oh, we're not supporting the app anymore." And I went,
"Right," and that kills it. It.
Well, that's right.
Thing.
So
yeah.
So now it's just a lot of pieces sitting under my desk that I can't get rid of.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, but this one, this Table of Tales sounds amazing. Do you know how much it's gonna retail for when it comes out?
I've asked them for the price. It'll be on my video. They haven't got back to me, but I would assume probably around $30 Australian, maybe $20.
So here,
VR games are cheaper because they're generally shorter. So
here's are they one-time adventures? Is that sort of like their one-time adventure things? Is that how it works, or?
Yeah. I don't know whether they'll add this. I'm kind of hoping that they do, to be honest, because I just loved it.
How varied are the choices you can make in it?
With regard to skills and that kind of thing?
Is it when you have when you're given a problem, are there multiple ways to solve the problem? Are there 2 ways, or are there 5 ways? I mean, how
good question.
How varied are your options? How close to an actual tabletop role-playing experience is it?
Well, it's funny. I thought of this for my for the review. You've got less options than you would in a role-playing game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a D&D, but you've probably got the same options that you would in a board game.
Wow, that's pretty
good. You're sort of stuck with your skills and the cards that are there, but it's still up to what you do.
Yeah, because it's a DM that is not real, so they can't. If you say something out of the box, they don't know how to respond.
Yeah. No, you can't. Yep.
But that is really awesome. I'm definitely going to want to check out the videos that you release on this. I'm very excited to check this out, and I think everybody who's watching this, go subscribe to Nerfenstein. Of course, there's going to be a link to her channel at the end of this, as well as all of ours. And but definitely subscribe to her and check those out, because I am super interested to see this. And yes, it's a video game, but oh man, is this tabletop related? That is so cool.
Yeah.
So did you have anything
Dev
else?
Said that to me, actually. The Dev was like, "You're perfect for this."
Because you do,
and it's a VR game.
Because you do both. You do both. So anything else on Table of Tales?
No, I think I've pretty much covered it, haven't I, really?
All right. So, well, that sounds really awesome. So, Dave, why don't you take us into your first topic that you wanted to talk about today?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the whole hype machine of tabletop gaming at the moment. I think we've done a really good job, especially a lot of reviewers, done a great job of promoting tabletop gaming to the point where it's growing. It does seem to be a real positive future for the industry. Lots of new stuff coming out constantly. And I wonder if I've been looking at, I watch Instagram and I follow a bunch of people, and games come up and they become really popular for, it seems like the amount of time games are popular for is becoming shorter.
Yeah.
And the amount of interest is shorter. I almost wonder if, how long these games are going to last for, because we see them come up, they're really big, lots of hype, and then it just dies away suddenly and we're on to the next thing. And I find myself struggling to keep on top of any of the waves, to be honest. I sort of can't maintain that level of hype constantly. And it's actually almost, I found myself becoming a little bit cynical of the next hyped thing. And I wonder if we're undermining games through overhyping everything. And I wonder if the hype is becoming a negative, although early on it was very much a positive.
I get where you're coming from. I do think that there are quite a few games where the cycle is really short, but I think a lot of that is most games these days, they do limited print runs. They sell them. If they sell well enough that they're able to sell out, they might do another print run, but they don't usually keep going. But there are other games that are big exceptions to that. If a game sells out in ludicrous speed, you know, if they go to plaid,
Yeah.
and then they do another print run and that sells out even faster, they're going to keep it in print. So a good example of that in recent years was Terraforming Mars, which has been nonstop in print since it came out because they can't make enough. Another newer one, which I think might break that whole short cycle, at least so far it is Root. Root has been, they sold out in like a month, then they printed again and they sold that out in like a week, and now they just keep printing it as quick as possible. And you know, it's already got the first big expansion out, and which we have. And yeah, I mean, so there are games that do break that, is basically what I kind of wanted to say about that. But for the hype itself, there definitely is a certain amount of overhyping of some games. There's some games they get super hyped, and then you get them, and they're not. Like you were as excited for them as Terraforming Mars or Root, but then you get them and you play them, and you're like, it's good. It's
well, yeah.
7.
Well, I mean, you know, I was. I think Kickstarter did have a big part of this because games had to get hyped a lot to get sales, and if they didn't get sales, then they didn't get made. But now it sort of feels like a lot of companies are moving to Kickstarter because it means that they've got the pre-sales they need to make the game. So it sort of feels like there's a lot of hype that goes on. I wonder if it's sort of killing our enjoyment of stopping and actually enjoying the game. I mean, I used to get really excited for stuff, and now I find myself holding back more, and so I'm now more cautious. You're more cautious too?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Has that been your experience?
Although I have got Wingspan back here somewhere.
Well, I can see it.
Well,
Lynn, what do you think about
that? Might be one of those games that Josh was talking about because you know, I'm hearing a lot of lingering conversation about Wingspan. A lot of people are saying it is a really great game.
I haven't gotten to try Wingspan yet. I haven't
played it yet either.
Well, I guess it means for people like us who do sometimes, like, you know, your dedicated review channels, you know, how do we approach reviewing then that doesn't just sort of feed into hype, but actually, I don't know, sort of, how do we respond to this is my big question. I'm not sure where we go.
When Lynn and I are doing reviews, we just try to give our honest opinion on how much we like a game. We will discuss it and we give our own ratings. Sometimes Lynn likes a game better than me. More often, I like a game better than her just because I love to game in general. I'm really glad that in regard to free reviews, most of I don't think I've had to give a negative review to anything I've gotten a free copy of yet. I mean, that's going to happen at some point, but right now, every game that I've been sent for free has been something I've genuinely liked to some degree or another. I think the lowest rating I've given to a free game was a 6, which is still 6 out of 10 is still kind of positive. It's just sort of like, I like it, but I need to be in the mood to play it. But I mean, when it happens, and you know, I mean, I didn't super hype that game. I was like, the game's good. You know, I need to be in the mood to play it. Here's what's good about it. Here's what's bad about it. But like when I get a game or I buy a game that's amazing, then yeah, I'm going to hype it just because I'm excited about it. It's just like a natural result. Like the first time I played Terraforming Mars, I was like, oh my God, I'm super excited about this game. And when I did the review to it, I mean, I did not hold back. I was super excited about talking about Terraforming Mars, which I still love that.
I think it has made me more selective in the review channels I go to, though, because there are some review channels which will just hype everything. And now I do look for the general conversation afterwards. I look for the people who do provide a balanced review. I think so. As a consumer, I'm more selective in the channels I go to. So obviously I do watch you guys a lot, but there's probably maybe only 2 or 3 people beyond the channels represented here that I'll actually watch.
Oh,
so I limit now. I'm very careful about who I listen to.
Yeah, we like to always give two opinions because, often we don't agree, and that's important. I think that's great to give multiple opinions on any particular review. Lynn, what do you think about all the game hype? You've been kind of quiet on this one.
Well, I don't really, unless it's something that I know I like, I wouldn't say I'm immune to hype, but I don't really get that excited for things. And he's smirking because he knows that I'm just like, yeah, that looks fine. So, I mean, I don't know.
So yeah, I was gonna say you get excited for only certain very specific things. Anything new with the Robin Hood theme, that's a given. You always get excited for anything with the Robin Hood theme. Other than that, I can't remember. Other than Sign coming out with the Robin Hood theme, I can't remember you getting like super excited about a new. Well, you get excited about games coming out at Gen Con just because of the excitement of running around and buying all the games at Gen Con, but that's not.
Yeah, I like to buy the games.
So like you'll get excited for a bunch of games, but that's more for like the experience of running around and buying all the fresh new games. And
I like to shove people out of the way. And
there's also been, though, with talking about all the hyping, there's been some weird hyping with outrage marketing in the last couple of years. So there was that. Dave, you had done that parody on your channel for that game that Simon put out.
Yeah.
Was it Hate?
Hate, yeah.
So I loved your parody video, by the way.
I had to take it down because I just went, I can't really keep this up. I do tend to keep to a family audience, but yeah, look, I just that video really, I didn't trigger me, but I was sort of, this is ridiculous advertising. This is taking things to a silly level. I just thought, it just felt so, it felt so trite and contrived, and it didn't seem like it was. It almost felt like a parody in itself. Watching it,
yeah.
So I was surprised when it was really serious. I'm like, I kept waiting for the punchline, and there was nothing coming. So I just sort of went, do we really need this? Is this actually working for anyone? But it's Simon, so of course it's got great minis. So of course it got funded.
I was gonna say if it's Simon and they put tons of miniatures in it, it doesn't matter what else you say about it, it's gonna get funded. It will successfully be funded. And I haven't heard actually much from anyone on whether or not that game is any good. I had a look at it.
I've not heard about it ever since. I've not heard anyone talk about it.
So it's probably was another generic, been done 5 times before, but with prettier minis now kind of game.
It's such a weird concept that it's a multiplayer game that only 2 people can play at a time, and then you record stuff and then play with other people. It didn't make sense.
That sounds like a lot of unnecessary work.
Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, so gaming hype, there's definitely, well, obviously, a lot of the companies have moved away from traditional advertising, have moved into sort of trying to hype things through getting the community talking about it, which is, it's the better way to actually get advertising out there right now.
Yeah. Because
people don't pay attention to old school ads anymore. So that hype is definitely a thing. Is it detrimental? I don't know. I myself do fall victim to hype on certain games. Not that one, but certain games. I didn't fall victim to the hype on Hate at all. But I was not. I didn't back that. I was like, whatever. It felt to me. It didn't offend me. It didn't upset me. My feeling was like I looked at it. I said, okay, I see what they're doing. Oh, look, the minis look really cool. Let me look at the game. And then when I looked through the game mechanics, I was like, Nah, I don't know.
Even the board was so plain and nothing to look at. It was, But for me, like a lot of the what I've really in my resistance to hype. I'm not necessarily against it either. I'm just in my resistance. I've intentionally gone to games that I've liked and have given them more time as a way of saying, no, actually, I don't need to get on this bandwagon. I can just enjoy what I've got and appreciate that a little bit more. So that's been my response. Yeah.
Did anyone have anything else they wanted to add about board game hype?
I think just the only thing I was trying to think of an actual example, but the only thing that annoys me, and it's for other things too. It could be applied to other things besides board games. But it's like when people start saying like, "Oh, this is the replacement, to this game," and then you're just like, but why do we need to replace that game? Like when someone says like, "Oh, this is a better Five Tribes," and I'm like, "But I like Five Tribes. Why would I want a better Five Tribes?"
We did have that issue with a game we were playing recently, didn't we? And it's funny that you mentioned Five Tribes specifically, because that game was one that was touted as being like a new Five Tribes.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Oh, it was Deja Vu.
Oh, right.
And then we were all like, "Yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't better than Five Tribes." So, but spoiler alert, because we will be doing a review on that game at some point. But yeah,
well, it's just because that seems to be like one of the main things when people are hyping a game. They're like, it's like this well-loved game, but better. And it's like, is it really? And does it really need to be like that game, but better?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Splendor and Century.
See, but I think that's a case where a lot of people actually do think Century is better than Splendor.
I like them both. Why can't we have both?
We can have both, and we can. I don't have a copy of Splendor, but we do have a copy of Century Golem Edition, which I adore. I love that game. That's another one that I think
is the thematic change in that. I haven't actually played Golem. I've got the original one. Is the thematic change in that really that good? Like, does it make a big difference to you?
Okay, so it's the exact same game, 100%.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. It's just a different theme. But the thing was this. So when Century Spice Road came out, a lot of people were touting how cool it was, but I saw it, and the theme and the look of it, it just made me yawn. I looked at it and I said, no, I'm okay. That's really not get me excited at all. And then when they announced that they were doing the fantasy version where you're building golems instead of trading spices, I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And the artwork looks really nice. And then I picked that up and I was like, I'm glad I did, because the game is amazing. But I probably never would have tried Century Spice Road ever, because the theme was so yawn-inducing to me. Oh,
that's interesting. I was intrigued by the idea before any of the themes. I listened to a conversation, an interview with the game designer, and he described it as he took the one element of Eurogaming, which was pushing cubes around, and he turned it into a game. So you push cubes around to make other cubes and exchange cubes, and I just went, I'll be interested to see if that works.
I do enjoy cube pushers, and I was gonna say Lynn like loves cube pushers.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But okay, so now here's an interesting one. We have a couple of related topics. We wanted to talk about what themes, and this is interesting because we've kind of transitioned from talking about the hype to talking about themes. So, and I talked a little bit about how the theme of Century Spice Road, I was never going to try that, but the theme of Golem Edition, I was like, I'm there. So what themes make a game an auto-include or an auto-exclude with you? Who wants to go first on their auto-includes or auto-excludes?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
So we already mentioned Robin Hood.
That's an auto-include.
Yes, I have bought games with mechanics that I know I hate because they're Robin Hood themed. And then I begrudgingly play them because it's Robin Hood. The other thing that I can think of is that I remember I bought that tabletop miniature Judge Dredd war game.
Oh, you did, and you hate tabletop miniature war games.
I was like, we played it multiple times, and every time I'm in my head, I'm like, I need to love this game. It's Judge Dredd. I love Judge Dredd, and like moving the little dudes around and just being angry because I don't like it.
So what about some auto-excludes for you? What are some auto-excludes?
Oh, I didn't actually think that far ahead. I don't know. You can come back around to me.
Okay, so let's do some includes then. Angela, do you have some auto-includes that you will immediately definitely try a game for if it has a certain theme.
Yeah, I think so, and I don't know why. So please don't make me extrapolate on this. Hospital themes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and pandemic. Obviously, you probably all know I'm a pandemic nutcase.
Oh yeah, you've got like every pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, hospital themes. I'm automatically drawn to it if I see it. Maybe it's because my partner loves playing hospital games as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say that. And any game where you're nice, where the overall mechanic is cooperation and being nice.
Okay.
And on the flip side of that, I don't like games where you're like doing that to your opponent. It's just a turn off for me.
How about you, Dave? What are some auto includes for you?
Star Trek.
Ah, yeah.
Give me anything Star Trek. I am I'm totally gullible. I've got games here, which I have just because they're Star Trek, and I haven't actually played them yet. So I'm just like, yeah, all right. I would say Marvel, except I think Marvel was such a generic IP early on that it had a lot of really bad games associated with it. So I'm far more cautious with Marvel. But after Thanos Rising and a few like that, like I love seeing Marvel done well. So, but also probably Alien. So I like sci-fi stuff, but Alien as an IP is just I love Star Trek, and so the sci-fi sort of category. But I'm also, I think, drawn to mechanics. So I'll always check out any sort of deck builder, just as a general theme. I really enjoy deck building and area control.
So my for me. The first one is almost anything that has Mars on it. Unless I hear something really, really bad about it, I love anything to do with Mars. Also, spaceships and sci-fi, any kind of specifically spacefaring sci-fi, anything with also ship-to-ship combat in it. And that's whether it's sci-fi or Age of Sail. I get obsessed with that kind of stuff. I love Napoleonic War, Age of Sail battles. Absolutely love stuff like that. I also love sci-fi ship battles. Those are the things that really hook me in, and automatically it doesn't matter. I mean, I'll find out if the game is good or bad later, but I see it, I'm like, I need to buy that. Definitely. So now how about some auto excludes? Lynn, what isn't, we're back around to you now.
We're back around to me.
We're back
already?
around to you, yes. What are some auto excludes?
Oh, I don't know. Well, again, it's more mechanics with what I don't like. I don't like party games, but there are, like, I wouldn't say there's not really any themes that I can think of where, but like party games, there's themes that just don't grab me, but like if someone said to me, oh, this is a really great game, like samurais, like I'm not really interested in samurais, but like I've played games with samurais in them. It's, I don't know.
But so for one of your auto excludes though would be just in general is party games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. Are there any party games you like? I'm trying to think. It's you generally. Like you almost get like gamer snobbishness about party games. You're like, oh, a party game, really?
I just don't like interacting with people. If I can sit there with 3 other people and we all play like our own game, that's what I'm okay with. Yeah, I don't want to interact with anyone else.
I was gonna say a lot of your best games are like that, a very little interaction. So how about you, Angela? What are some auto excludes for you?
Yeah, I kind of covered it before. I don't like games where you're nasty to the other players. It's just same with video games for me. I'm just not into that kind of thing.
So like take that games or like take that games?
Yeah, or fighting games like PvP, take the other players down. Yeah, I don't really like that much.
That is fair enough.
I can't really think of any. Going back to what Dave said before, I need to say my most wanted game is the Aliens game. Like it doesn't look like something I would buy. It looks a bit rubbish, but I'm going to buy that sucker like straight away. Yeah.
And I will be there to play it with you, Angela.
Yay! Yeah.
I wish
Oh,
we lived closer.
I know.
'Cause I'd want to come over for
Sorry
that
to
game
cut you
night.
off, Josh.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Games that have no female characters auto turn off from.
Yeah, I think we've probably grown past that these days. Hopefully.
Yeah, it seems like more and more games are coming out with the double-sided player boards and things like that. Which
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yes. There's been a lot more of that, and that's very good. It is very good. So how about you, Dave? What are some auto excludes for you?
In terms of themes, there's one main thing which is usually a straight turn off, which is car racing. Just can't get into the car racing stuff as a theme.
No.
No, I haven't. Like, I keep hearing it's good, and like, you know, I watched the tabletop on what's that, Formula D or Formula Day, and racing cars, I can't. I will give stuff a go though. Like, people say Downforce is really good, so I'm happy to give it a go. But the idea of racing cars just doesn't do it for me. That and anything cricket based. So.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
If
I
it's
didn't
a
know
cricket,
there were cricket board games.
there are cricket games. If you live in Australia, you all know that there are cricket games.
Yeah.
See, there wouldn't be any in the States. Nobody here knows how to play cricket.
No, and you know that's probably one of the nice things about the States. Is that definitely no cricket.
Well, we've got baseball, and it's just as bad. Trust me.
It's just as boring, most likely.
Really?
Yeah, baseball's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty boring. Yeah, not a fan.
You haven't sat through a 3-day match of. You do have 3-day matches of baseball?
Wait, it takes 3 days to finish a game?
4 days, 5 days to finish a game.
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
The short games are a whole day.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No, I thought baseball was bad, but wow, no, I had no idea.
Beer sales are always up during cricket games,
So my auto excludes are, I've got two that I definitely never want to get, and the first one is, I feel kind of a little out of place because everybody went a bit lighthearted with theirs, and mine are a little darker. So, now I'm feeling a little out of place in this list. But so my two auto excludes. The first one is propaganda games. So there's this tendency, and we've been seeing more of them lately popping up on Kickstarter of these. There's two kinds that I would generally call propaganda games. It's either a political propaganda game or a religion propaganda game, and it doesn't matter which one it is. It doesn't even matter if it's one that subscribes to my own point of view. I actively resent people trying to force political or religious opinions on gaming. I can't stand it. So that's when I like, as soon as I see it. And then on top of that, generally speaking, without fail, they're always terrible games because the point of it is not to make a fun game. It's to get a point across. So I resent them on principle, and they're always bad games. So propaganda games, 100% will never play one of those. And then the other one is when somebody takes something that should obviously be a very serious topic and tries to make a joke out of it, something that should never be made a joke out of. And a game that really comes to my mind is that Secret Hitler game. So like I'm never going to play Secret Hitler. I don't judge other people that play it. Other people can play it, but for me, that's an auto exclude because it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, you made a parody out of one of the most evil people in history, and we're not supposed to laugh about that. That's pretty bad. So I think those are the ones for me where if I see those, I'm immediately like, because I had a friend was trying to convince me to get in on a game of Secret Hitler, and I was like, dude, I am not going to play this game. And he's like, oh no, you just got to get past it. I said, I don't want to get past it. I just don't want to play the game.
There's for people who like party games because it is a party game, but do find the theme distasteful, I think they can there's a free to print thing that's Secret Voldemort or something like that. So it's
but then why didn't they do something like that to begin with?
They couldn't get a Harry Potter license.
Yeah, but they could have been like Secret Dracula or
something in the
something fictional.
That's
I don't
true.
know why it had to go so.
Because then the people who are like, yeah, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want to play that. They have to go and do all this work just to play a game to, you know.
It's probably not a good game.
That goes back to the hype, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That game got a lot of coverage because of what it was.
Yeah.
I think they were doing it on purpose. They were, again, going for the outrage marketing. They were like, oh, let's make an offensive theme, and then people are going to be talking about it.
I'll be honest, I own it, so... And I've played
Is it any good?
It's fun.
Yeah. I'll never try it.
You've got me thinking, though, Josh, because in my head, like, I think comedy's great for deconstructing those people.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know, I look at how Hitler's treated in a few different of my favorite shows. You know, like, what was it? When he's in hell and they shove a pineapple up his butt every day. That sort of stuff. You know, like, I don't mind making fun of those people from the perspective of, you know, humor can help us not to make them palatable, but to, in a sense, depower them, disempower their influence, so that they're not. I think when we can take them from being an overarching threat and this ominous force over our head and make them ridiculous, where we no longer fear them, and we can confront those issues, I'm okay with it. But I don't know. I don't know the game itself. I have a problem when it sort of almost honors, or humorously or not, but makes people want to be them, or.
Well, that's the thing, is in this game, maybe it doesn't make you want to, but in this game, one person is the secret Hitler. It's like a social deduction game, and one person is the secret Hitler.
He's a lizard, though. He's not, you know.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing in the game that. Yeah, there's nothing in the game that's Hitler-esque. It's literally the name. It's stupid. They could have called it anything, like you said, really.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, though, also, and that goes back to the whole with the outrage marketing, on principle, I still probably wouldn't try it anyway, just because they took that route. It's just
It's a weird one, though, Secret Hitler, because it came out, it did get a lot of positive reviews. People were playing it, and then a few months ago, it suddenly hit the headlines again, and it was on big news websites.
I saw some of those, like Washington Post or something.
Yeah.
People critiquing the concept.
Way after the game came out, it was almost like it had flared up for some reason.
Well, so someone in the mainstream must have noticed it existed.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, really. Yeah.
So now on a lighter theme, because I just went way too dark with that. Sorry about that.
It's good to discuss important issues, though, Josh.
Indeed. So, Dave, you had
he Godwined the video, didn't he?
Sorry about that.
He totally did.
Sorry about that. Let's go a little more lighthearted. Dave, you had a nice lighthearted topic you wanted to finish us off with. Why don't you go and introduce that?
Yeah. Look, you know what? I was at my gaming group the other night, and we've been working at this for a year and a half. I think we've been just building this little group. We started with just 4 mates. We sort of, I had a newborn at the time, and so we were just fitting in gaming when we could. But we sort of got the idea. I really wanted to grow the group and to expand, I suppose, not influence, but to just see if we can get more people in and include more people. I went to one gaming group myself, and it wasn't the most positive experience. I remember walking in, I was brand new. I went up to one of the tables, and everyone had their heads down. They were playing this game, Glory to Rome, which I still haven't played, but keep hearing is good. And I was there, and I was like, "Hi, I'm an introvert, so going to new spaces where I'm on my own is incredibly intimidating." And I put on my best teacher, mask and went, "I'm going to be confident." Went in, "Hi, I'm Dave, blah, blah." And they all just sort of sat there. "Hi." And I got "Can you tell me about the game?" "Yeah, it's complex." Okay. I stood there for maybe 10 minutes with no one talking to me and walked out. And so I wanted to do something a bit more positive. But I've heard that since then they've really worked on that. But yeah, like I'm having, now that our group has grown to, probably about 15 regulars, and then irregular people that come in and go, and I've just really enjoyed having a community of people who are not normally game with coming together, and just people rocking up from off the street. It's amazing. People just walk in and say, "Oh, I heard about this event, so can we play tonight?" Yeah. And I've just thought there's a real positive experience in having gaming groups out in our communities. And I think anything we can do to encourage those and continue to build them is, I think it's almost I'm trying to avoid certain words like pastoral care, but it is building communities where people care for each other. So, we've had one guy who went through cancer, and as a group we got around and supported him. Others we celebrate birthdays, we celebrate each other's achievements. We've helped people while they're looking for work, trying to sort, just supporting each other. So I'm just, really
definitely. I definitely agree with what you're saying. I mean, about getting your gaming group to be gaming. I mean, a gaming group should be a very social aspect, and you should all be friends and friendly. And Lynn and I, we moved a number of years ago. We moved like halfway across this country of ours, and like yours, we have a very large country, so that's a long way to go. So we used to live in New York, and we grew up in New York, and we had several gaming groups that we gamed with out there. I used to have a group I played Magic the Gathering with specifically growing up.
Wow.
And actually Lynn and I met both playing Magic the Gathering. And then also we had like a board game group once board gaming started to become big getting bigger in the late 90s. And we had a board gaming group that we would meet up with. It was Lynn and me and my brother and a few friends of ours, and we'd all play, Starfares of Catan and Runebound, and have a blast, which were big games from back then. And when we moved, we lost all that. Everybody's back there. Everybody's like 12 to 15 hours away by car. So we moved and we came out here. It was hard to find, like, it took a while to find people that we actually now regularly play games with again. I quickly picked up, I was playing Warhammer at the time, and I quickly picked up with some people playing Warhammer, though now I've kind of given that up. But the board games were a little harder and took longer to find people to play board games out with here again. But now we have like a regular group that are great, that are friends, that we hang out and we drink beers and play games with and have a great time. And it is really important. It's it feels like a gaming support group. Everybody's there for each other and everybody supports each other, and it's wonderful. It's definitely I agree. It's definitely very important. It's a great way to socialize. It's a great way to support each other, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a real challenge for people to go into those spaces, though. Like, I can see it's really intimidating, especially new people walking in. But anything you can do to just make people feel welcome and to give that stuff a go. Like, if you're wondering where you can play games, I mean, I know there's some websites trying to set up where they put those spaces on a map and you can find out. But yeah, I just think I just needed to talk something positive about the gaming industry, and I think gaming groups are definitely something we need to be investing in.
And you need to, and like you said, you need to find the right group for you, because sometimes you're in a group, and if it's just not a fit, you got to go, and you got to go find another group.
Yeah, and like any social group, you can get toxic ones as well, which, get out of that as quick as you can.
And there's no point to keep going if it's toxic. No, certainly not. You can go and find some other people to play with. I mean, it might take a little time, but especially now, since it's getting bigger and bigger, you'll find other people to game with.
Yeah.
I'm
finding people, like, because I work in a school, I'm surprised at the age groups that are coming up to me and talking about certain games, and I'm like, oh, like, it's just becoming more of a normal conversation topic now rather than a niche market stuff, which I think is great.
Oh, definitely. How about you, Angela? What do you think on this topic?
Well, I've been to Dave's group, obviously, and it's a great group. I am extremely nervous going into that kind of environment, and I was fine. I wish I could make it more often. I feel like every time that group meets up, something has happened, and I can't go. Yeah, like the grandkids will be here, or a work thing will come up, and it's got a deadline. But yeah, a good gaming group that makes you feel comfortable when you walk in. Hugely important. Like Dave, I went to another group on the Gold Coast, and it was super awkward. I just wanted the ground to swallow me when I went there.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
think, Lynn?
harsh.
What are some of your thoughts on on having a good gaming group?
Yeah, I prefer smaller groups and to not meet like in public places, but that's just because I want to get into my pajamas whenever I want, basically. I don't know. I'm not as social as Josh, so I'm completely fine like not seeing people for a week.
Yeah.
But I was
Same.
gonna say you definitely greatly do prefer the games when we have the gaming group at home versus going out to the store.
I hate
like
going to the store.
But like if
then
we
there's
have
there's randos that I don't know there, and sometimes they smell.
Oh, the smelly gamer is the worst.
I was gonna say we've had mixed results going to public gaming get-togethers. Sometimes they're great. I've had great times at public gaming get-togethers, but sometimes, yeah, because it is random. You play with the rando Calrissians, and sometimes the rando Calrissians aren't that great. Whereas if you play at home and you know everyone you're inviting, it's always good, at least in my experience generally. So like, I mean, we have certain people that we invite over again and again. And Lynn, you like all of them and you're comfortable with all of them. And then we have a good game night usually, no matter what games we play. So those are all really good. But yeah, if you're not comfortable in a particular place or not comfortable in a particular game group, you got to get out of there.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Don't try to make it work. Just go and find other people to play with. That's something I learned a long time ago. I was in a gaming group that was kind of toxic, and I was just like, why am I still going? I just stopped, and I was like, I'm done with this. And I went and I met other people, and I played with other people, and it was all good. Definitely better to just get out and because there's always other people out there you can game with, and games are also a nice escape when you have to deal with family that you don't want to talk to.
Yes, I've managed to turn many a awkward family get together into a very friendly gaming event.
Yes, it really improves it. It really does. I was gonna say when I was growing up and you didn't really have as many advanced and cool hobby games out there. Even back then, just like playing Monopoly or Risk with everybody, it really just improved. Even with not a great game like that, it still improved the situation. Because rather than sitting there and awkwardly not knowing what to talk to with your uncle that you see once a year, you instead invade Kamchatka.
Yeah.
And it made it so much easier. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to talk about in regard to gaming groups?
No, just get out there if you can. Go support your local.
Definitely. Did anybody have anything else they want to talk to about on any of the topics?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay, so I think that's where we'll cut it for this episode of Tabletop Mic Drop. So if you guys enjoyed this and you want to see us do more episodes, please give it a like and share it on all forms of social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Nerds of Wisdom and subscribe to Nerfenstein, a.k.a. the Girly Gamer, and subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. All of us are on YouTube, and we try to put up tons of videos about gaming and geek culture. And until next time, game on.